Good morning, Acadiana, and welcome to another edition of Morning Coffee with Big Al
and Special T.
We're happy to be coming to you from Cypress Street Radio, AOC Community streaming broadcast.
Look for us every day of the week. Our 8 a.m. show will start your morning off right. That's right in a good way.
Not right as in radical right. We bring you good ideas, good pastimes, and who knows what else.
With a progressive flair. Our 7 p.m. stream is a great backdrop for some decaf and peace of mind. Actually, you can drink anything you want after hours, you know, happy time, happy hour. Sit back and enjoy our show.
Definitely.
Hey, how are you doing, Al? Time for another show.
Doing. What's that?
Time for another show.
Yeah. I'm doing reasonably well, and you?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing a lot better than last week, but I'm surrounded by like a zoo of animals here.
Okay.
Yeah, they may make noise in the background. There's never any telling what might happen if anyone just passes fairly close to the door. My dog goes on alert and like goes ballistic. He starts barking and hurting my ears, and I'm like having to say, please be quiet.
Yeah, I noticed that a few seconds ago.
He gave a
partial alert.
Yeah, just an acknowledgement that he's there, and I've got some phalanes hanging around, and sadly I don't have any pájaros, no birds. They're all gone.
Yeah.
They're gone. But anyway, things have been kind of interesting. A lot of people are just like trying to shut off the news because it seems to be a lot of the things that are not so pleasant, unfortunately.
Yeah. I guess
it's more fun watching the rain.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had enough of that lately too. But
yes, we have.
I guess with the news and our transition of power between presidents, I mean, that's what it kind of goes back to, and that's been still being churned up, and there's a lot of parties involved with. I was reading something today about there was someone, and they barred him from being in office, any kind of public office anymore because of his part in the January 6th thing.
And the insurrection.
Yeah, but I forgot. I can't. Seems like it was out in Arizona or something like that. It's so much stuff. I don't try to keep up with all the details. I just. At
some point, we're going to have a big summary of all this stuff that's been happening, and hopefully they'll put it somehow manage to put it into some sort of a succinct capsulation so that people can just go down the timeline, have a list of all the folks who did things wrong, what they did, what the repercussions were from what they did, whether they ignored them or what. But
there was something. It had to do with the Proud Boys and this person's affiliation. And, that brings in a lot of the, the national office people, I guess both senators and congressmen.
Right. I had heard that there was some sort of a program that was going to be held at UL that somebody did some research, thank goodness, before it happened. And it involved some people that were like on that level, someone.
Well, yeah.
Proud Boy affiliation. Hello. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I like the idea of I don't know. It's like there's free speech, and then there's hate speech, and then there's just I don't know what to say about it. It's just kind of a bad situation. All this business really opened the can of worms. Pandora's box was opened in 2020 when we elected someone who had no protocol or understanding of politics, who thought that he could come back and be the king of America. I mean, that just doesn't work. Not in a democracy.
Yeah. You know, if you look at 2016 and you go back to 2000, there's, I mean, obviously it's going to be political.
Instances of things that are questionable.
Well, yeah. I mean,
definitely in 2000.
Yeah. I mean, that was
a hanging Chad year.
Yeah, the hanging Chad thing. I mean, it's like they, and by they I mean mainly the mainstream media, throws stuff out there for distraction purposes, and so, you know, it's like what would have been the difference?
I have a local media mess up that I think actually plays into that situation perfectly. Did we talk about the cameras and the timing on the Atchafalaya Basin our last show? I don't think we did.
I think we might have touched on it, but we didn't go, too much into it. Okay,
well, when they put out the alerts, there were a lot of people who were like really upset on what was provided by the media. And it wasn't that they thought it was provided by the media. They would have definitely blamed the Secretary of Transportation and that organization or Big Brother or whatever for...
Are you talking about at the state level or what?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, for, imposing this thing on the people driving that would not be fair. What the media failed to include in the revelation of facts that surround this was that this particular change, because, taking the pictures on the Atchafalaya is a change, but as far as enforcement was not going to happen like bang. That we were told, I had mentioned this before, we had a guest speaker was Sean Wilson, and he had indicated that there was like a 3-part process as far as having people cited with a ticket. Because first they doing the cameras are able to pick up, I guess, the license tag and the like they did with that other camera thing, and took a picture of the person who was actually driving and the license tag, so you knew who it was. So if you were driving, it was somebody else's car, you got the ticket, you would see, oh, well, somebody else was driving,
Yeah.
So that same kind of thing, but the first thing that would go out would be like a notice about that you were speeding, and that what the speed is supposed to be, and that it's going to be enforced. The next thing was going to be a warning that you the second time, 3 times you're out. Third time you get a ticket with a monetary fine, and you have to pay it. That's what it's going to be. And it'll be for everyone. And I don't know what the cost is going to be of notifying these people, whether they have any way to do it by email or phone calls or, but probably the U.S. mail, which, we've grown to find suspect, unfortunately, after all the changes that have been made in our mail. Actually, it shows up so much slower, But at any rate, it's not a case of, okay, all of a sudden, bang, you've got to, make sure that your trip doesn't fall below the threshold for proper driving speed.
I think it's 18 minutes. It has to take at least. It has to take you at least 18 minutes to get from where they take the first picture to the.
Yeah, but the funny thing is that so many people decide they were going to do that, and then they'd step on the brakes at the end. It's just like, come on, guys, you're going to cause a wreck, That's stupid. Well,
what about that place where you can pull off in the middle, the rest stop and the little.
Over there at Whiskey Bay?
Maybe it's Whiskey Bay. I mean,
That's the only place I know of in the middle that you can.
Well, there used to be didn't they have a place with a tiger there at one time?
Oh, no, that's at the end.
At the end?
Yeah. That's not the middle.
After you already get off?
I think so.
Okay. Well, I could have sworn there was some place.
That's on solid land.
Like, okay, I was thinking there was a rest stop or something like that.
Well, there's Whiskey Bay. You can get off there. And then there's the tiger thing, and it's on land.
Okay, maybe it's Whiskey Bay I'm thinking of then.
Yeah.
But I mean,
they have like like a lodging place and gas station and a rest stop.
Yeah. I think that's it. But I mean, what provisions have they made if somebody's running, 90 miles an hour and
because they stopped at Whiskey Bay to get a drink and
stopped there for
the police can still stop them. I mean, they can. They can follow them all the way to the end and say, okay, we've caught you at 90 miles an hour and you're going to pay this ticket. You don't get a warning. You don't get a notice.
They used to have aircraft that would patrol it.
I've seen those things all over the place about that they're monitoring the speed by aircraft. I've never seen an aircraft monitoring us. They can probably do it with those drones now.
Yeah, they definitely
wouldn't be as visible.
But I've talked to back when I was working. I had talked to the planes a couple of times, and they were monitoring the
speed on the highway.
Yeah. What's that?
The speed on the highway. I say, okay, everybody. Big Al here used to be a air traffic controller.
Well, it's just for normal traffic stuff. It wasn't any road speed enforcement thing or anything like that. But I mean, the thing is when you time somebody between the mile markers, I mean, it's, if it takes less than a minute, you're probably speeding. It's not.
That's a mathematical problem.
Yeah.
That's a good problem for kids to have on their test.
Yeah, well, we could say.
Speaking of tests, the other day I saw this just amazing video about Finland. Those kids don't have standardized testing.
I think I read that too.
It's just amazing. I mean, that sounds so great. That's like, I don't know, it's almost like the Waldorf schools here. They have a private school that's called the Waldorf school. And they don't do the rigors of putting kids in a seat and silently sitting there and listening to the teacher all day. They do some really cool stuff, like they were doing in Finland.
You gotta, if you want somebody to learn something, you got to get them interested and wanting to learn it. I mean, not sitting back like a little drone. I mean, I never had any problem with school, basically. I mean, until I decided I was tired of it and quit. But it's like I mean, there's certain ways to teach things. I mean, it's got to be, if it's interesting, I mean, like this, what do they call it? Attention deficit disorder.
Yeah.
ADD. Okay. Well, it depends on what the kid's doing.
Right.
I mean, if he's doing something he wants to do, he or she is doing something he wants to do, he or she doesn't have much of a problem staying on task and doing it.
Right.
But I mean, I've learned so much on from different videos on YouTube personally. Uh-huh. I mean, once you learn how to navigate and you got a bunch of garbage on there for sure, but there are people that actually put some decent stuff on there, and of course,
the TED Talks are usually really interesting.
I was gonna say that. That's they usually have some pretty good stuff, but it's like economics, for instance. I mean, there's people that, the economics I've learned is so different than what they generally spread around as economics that I just don't believe. It's not,
there's a part of economics that tries to turn it into math.
Well, it's math and it's probability and it's, an observation. Like modern monetary theory that's what they've looked at and they've seen what's actually done. And that's what it is, I mean, that's looking at the different countries and the different forms of money that they have, as far as if it's a fiat currency, that's not, if it's a sovereign currency and a fiat currency, it's, issued only by the federal government of whatever country it might be. And it's not tied to anything. It's not tied to gold. It's not tied to any commodity or not tied to another currency. It's a free-floating currency.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we have here in the United States, as do several other countries. But it's the stuff the pablum that they put out for the general populace is just not, it's no wonder people don't know any better, because they're constantly fed incorrect information.
That's true.
I mean, it's, of course, that goes back to, a book that was written in 1988 called it's either Manufacturing Consent or Manufactured Consent. And it's, all the stuff that comes over the news and on the, the mainstream media, not necessarily, not just the news, but all kinds of stuff. And it's propaganda, just to make people think a certain thing. And
and it works.
Yeah, it works very well.
Hitler used it.
Oh yeah. Well, it's
the great propagandist.
Well, and it's, it's a science to it. It's not, it helps to be a compelling speaker and all that good stuff. But if you have the formula on how to push people's buttons and get them interested in thinking that, you really care about what they think or what they have, or, you have their interest at heart and all that stuff, but they need to do this it's really, it's cleverly diabolical, because so many people eat it up. I mean, it's like right now, all the Stop the Steal and, which is still going on. But
did you see the pictures of the last rally that they were showing about Trump's rally? And they keep showing these same things where they got these motorcyclists and the flags and all that business, and they all look like thugs.
No, I didn't see that.
I've seen it used with several different spots where they talk about Trump having a rally in Pennsylvania, the same state that Joe Biden did his State of the Union. And these guys look like, I guess they're the salt of the earth.
Not the kind of guys you'd vote for Congress.
Well, they're not the kind of guys I would hang out with, I don't think.
Yeah. Well,
even though I, did ride a motorcycle at one time, but it was just in class.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, and there's, I don't have any problem with riding around in groups. I mean, I used to do that. We used to do that in Houston, particularly around midnight when, most people had gone to bed. We'd get 10 or 15 guys and ride around. It's pretty fun. But but to try to make I'm a loyal American, law-abiding type guy with motorcycle gang that probably is not the most law-abiding, and I guess
Insurrectionists, no.
Well,
motorcycles out the insurrection. They were all on foot.
Yeah, I didn't see any motorcycles there. But it's like, there's a lot of different angles here. I mean, people need to participate in the democratic
and I don't mean to be stereotyping people who ride motorcycles. There's a lot of really, good things that the groups do. They have rides that raise money for really bona fide areas of need, and
yeah, they do. And but I guess it's getting back to the people need to participate thing, that's what happens. That's what needs to happen. But the thing is, a lot of people don't think their participation has any effect on what's going on. And it has varying degrees of effect, but not as much of an effect as the corporations and the, mega donors and stuff like that, and their campaign contributions.
That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest put off, I think, is that realization that so much of what your desires are actually like a group, a corporation will be backed by money and gets more attention than the vote.
Oh yeah.
I've gotten so tired of, I had a situation that came up with a political platform that's used to raise money. And as a platform, I'm talking about a digital platform. And something happened where I don't think I did it. I think that it was somehow just became a month after month donation and growing so much so that my credit card company was like, okay, it looks like fraud. And
oh, really?
I was shocked. Yeah. And I had to actually change my card over. And then
really?
I started getting these like done notices for something I didn't want, I didn't ask for. I tried to stop it and I couldn't, so I had to stop my credit card.
Yeah, there's people that are able to get away with a lot of stuff on the internet, and
so you got to be careful. You have to watch your pennies.
I guess something that occurred to me the other day, a while back was, maybe you do and maybe you don't, but as far as requests for donations from particular candidates, I mean, it's like, why should we have to pay for any of that?
We shouldn't. It's supposed to be, they should be asking for a vote.
Right.
They're wanting to fund, we used to have it where the money was out of politics and politicians were allocated time, where they could address people on at gatherings in real time, real life. It's just that we've become so digital. Anyway, we're going to need to talk about that more later. And I think we can talk about corruption and politics coming up, voting, things we need to do as far as being able to vote. That's what I think we need to talk about.
Well, it sounds like a appropriate topic.
Yeah, and, it's coming.
I guess we can take a little break here and come back in a little while and resume the discussion.
Absolutely.
Rotary and our partners have made incredible progress toward eradicating polio, thanks to the oral polio vaccine, or OPV. which has helped reduce polio cases by over 99% since 1988. This vaccine is easy to administer and has the amazing ability to both protect the individual and prevent person-to-person spread of the virus. Unfortunately, if not enough children are vaccinated, the weakened polio virus contained in OPV can start to circulate in a community and over time change to a form that causes paralysis. This variant of polio virus is called CVD-PV, and it is one of the major barriers we face in achieving a polio-free world.
To address the threat of CVD-PV, a global group of experts have worked together for many years to develop a next-generation vaccine, one that would carry less risk of changing to a harmful form that could cause paralysis in low immunity settings. The result is the novel oral polio vaccine type 2, or NOPV2, to address the most common type of CVD-PV, type 2.
NOPV2 is very similar to the current saving OPV we rely on, but with key changes to prevent mutation.
Across all studies, we have seen that NOPV2 is safe, effective, and significantly less likely to change to a form that can cause paralysis.
It was amazing to see NOPV2, after a decade in the works, begin to be rolled out from March 2021. We look forward to seeing more countries across different continents using this vital new tool in the future to combat CVD-PV2.
NOPV2 is a powerful example of the polio program's innovation to overcome the toughest challenges. Partners, scientists, and leaders from around the world made NOPV2 possible, and this is the kind of collaboration that will help us end polio for good.
Thank you to all of the Rotary members around the world who have raised funds that are directly supporting the new vaccines rollout. We are confident that NOPV2 could help us stop CVD-PV2s and bring polio eradication within our grasp. However, a vaccine sitting in a vial won't protect a child. We must all continue to reach and protect children everywhere and recommit to wiping out this terrible disease.
Okay, glad to be back with y'all.
Yes, looks like we're back.
Back in the pool of corruption.
Yeah.
I think that there's like the big corruption and the big corruption in the big pond, and then we get down and we find out we have a big pond of corruption in a little pond.
Well, that just came to me. It reminds me of a Star Trek episode. One of my favorites.
One of your favorites?
If not my favorite, but it's called A Piece of the Action.
Oh.
And it's a society, some starship before them or something like that, somehow, inadvertently left a book there that said organized crime of the 1920s and 30s. And
oh my gosh.
And they took that book and based their whole society on it.
Oh my gosh. Well, you can look at, if we have that and we know a piece of the action, we can go on YouTube and probably find that episode and watch it for free.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, because Star Trek's on Disney Plus,
Oh, okay. Well, Star Trek had there was this article. It's really strange because it was in one of the news, then they had the entertainment. They had a deal that was called the Women of Star Trek. And it went through all these women who had been there. And so many of them I didn't recognize and some that I did. But you know who was missing? Seven. Remember Seven? The
7 or 9?
blonde girl?
Yeah.
She wasn't
7 or 9?
listed. She wasn't listed.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Where is she? Did she, have some sort of an agreement in her contract that they couldn't do that with her?
I have no idea, but
I was like,
some of those things are kind of spotty, but I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of snippets at least about, a piece of the action, I mean,
yeah,
like, there's one, the head boss of the crime family's name is Bella, and
like Italian, like an Italian name.
Yeah. And somebody, I think it's Kirk, asked him, well, but you can't do this. You can't interfere here. And he says, who's interfering? We're just taking over. And it's a kind of a funny episode, but it's definitely, it reminds me of a lot of,
some satire.
Well, yeah, but it reminds me of a lot of what's going on around here, and not only around here, but nationally and globally, for that matter. But
the things going on around here are so interesting. I mean, the things that are in the news, like people expunging parts of their service or things that they're involved in, and it's even in the advertiser, but also the current. People are going to find things going on in their government that they probably need to be aware of. I just wonder about the motivations, and usually it has to do with like taking things that you shouldn't take.
Yeah, like
taxpayer money.
Well,
contracts.
Yeah, what's that?
Contracts and benefiting, when you shouldn't.
Well, I don't keep up with all of it, but I know there's a lot of stuff like that goes on. I mean, there was, what was it recently about matter of fact, maybe within the past week. I mean, because of when the show will air, but a city council meeting, wasn't it? And they asked our esteemed mayor about some things, and he says, well, I don't have time to answer that, and you can just audit. And I don't know if it was in that meeting where they asked him about.
They must have done it before, because they have gone ahead and started an audit.
Yeah. And he says, well, you can just start an audit if you want to find out about this. So
they did.
Which, it ought to be, like you're saying, transparent. There ought to be, I guess the secretary or whatever at these meetings. I mean, and we got video. I mean, it's like all this stuff. It's not like, he said, she said. It's like, here it is on video.
Yeah.
And and all the other transactions and things that go on with the city parish government and who's doing what. It shouldn't be very difficult.
No, but then it's kind of sad, all of us are probably guilty of just not, paying attention like we should. And it's boring.
Well,
sometimes.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I went to a city council meeting, or a city parish council, or whatever they were calling it back then.
Back then it was city parish, but now they've divided it where 1 week it's for the parish and 1 week, the next week it's for the city.
Okay.
And then they do have the times when they have certain dates that you can just come up and talk about anything you want to, but you have a time limit. But there's a certain period that's allocated for things like that.
Well, I've been to some of the library board meetings too.
Oh gosh, yes.
And it's like it's amazing the stuff that goes on, and by the time by the time people find out about it, it's like,
It's
this happened. Who appointed this person or these people
Right.
or whatever, And
Right.
why was there no
Gosh.
notification? Well, it's definitely. It doesn't seem like it's on. Like a lot of it doesn't seem like it's on the up and up to me.
No,
But,
because the library is supposed to be a place where people can go and learn things,
yeah,
everything. But
and they're trying to ban books.
You think about like some of this stuff. What about kids who are in families where they're being abused in really bad ways by, people in their family? I mean,
Yeah.
where are they going to go and learn about protecting themselves and knowing what's going on? I mean, the library is supposed to be a bastion of information. And I'm mad about Sunday not. I mean, I guess it's okay to give the librarians a day off. But if you take away Sunday, you shouldn't have it where you can't go to the library only until 5:00. I mean, people have jobs and people go to school, and that's supposed to be a place to be able to access information. And I mean, lots of kids work on the weekend. And so the later hours are what they use to do their. I know I spent most of my weekends at the library when I was in college.
Well, it's there's a concerted effort nationwide to
Dumb down everything.
Well, they're attacking libraries. I mean, doing various things, and they talk about, we're protecting the kids and all that. Well, the kids wouldn't even think about it. Some of the stuff books they want to ban if it wasn't brought up in the first place.
Right.
And
Just makes it really
advertise saying, don't look at this, don't look at this, and
They don't look up.
yeah, like the movie. But but there's definitely seems like a lot of stuff like that going on these days. But people need to participate, and it's good that I guess here in the I'm not sure what if it's done on a city parish level or a city level or what, but the audit on the finances and the stuff, the spoil bank thing, it's like the it's like when you try to cover stuff up and obfuscate and all that, there's probably a reason behind that. It's like, why do you not want people to know about this? And the having to audit when you should, if you're in a meeting, I mean, it's like, that's what if you're a council member or whatever, and you say, okay, what happened here? How was this money spent? Who got this? Whatever, that ought to be I don't have the figures right in front of me, but my secretary over here, she can look that up, and she ought to be able to look it up, he or she, and say, okay, yeah, that was spent, this much money went to this for this, and this much money went to this firm for this, and, it ought to be readily available. I mean, it shouldn't be one of those things where you say, well, I don't have time to talk about it. It's like, well, I think you should. I think that's your job. I think that's why you get paid for, But
right. And they do get paid.
Well, I'm talking about the mayor or city, county, parish president or whatever they call them now. But our city parish president. But you're saying the council members do get paid. Some they do get paid.
It might be nominal compared to like a typical salary, but yeah, they do make money.
I was thinking they did get a nominal payment, but but I think we started to touch on it a little bit about the money in politics.
Yes.
And I think more on a national level, and it's like, I get so many emails from so many different candidates.
They've always got their hand out, and what they ought to be saying is vote for me.
Yeah.
It's okay. So maybe the media is partly to blame because, they charge so much for their advertising. There ought to be some sort of a pool that they get, that everybody gets the same amount, and they can do the best they can with their talent and their performance to, say what they need to say. I remember when, long time ago, I came to Louisiana in 2000, and there was a city election for mayor, and a whole lot of people were running for mayor. And I asked all of them the same questions and published all their answers.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting, some of their answers. Because I did ask them, I said, well, what's your favorite book? And we had one candidate said, I don't read books.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. You don't, it's just.
Well, I haven't,
You haven't read a book lately? No.
No, I don't, I get more of my information off the internet.
Yeah.
So, technically it's not reading a book, even though it may be from a book, or it may be the person that's lecturing on it or talking about it or whatever has written a book, talking about the same stuff.
Right.
But getting back to the money thing with politics, that just occurred to me fairly recently about why are we having to pay anything for somebody's campaign contribution, making a campaign contribution to whomever. And I've done that, but
I have too, but the big mistake I think was actually making it where a corporation could count as a human being. The whole big thing about being a corporation is that you don't have, one thing is like unlimited life, which that's worthwhile so that your business continues. But to not have responsibility as a person under the guise of a corporation for the things that the corporation does.
That and money being speech.
Yes.
That's not, you can kind of say, I'm voting with my checkbook or whatever, and that's kind of true in a way, but it's not, speech is speech. And, how you spend your money indicates an intent for sure. But with, like you were talking about the cost of advertising for various politicians, that could be done to where that was part of a license for having a radio station or a television station or whatever, that you had to contribute so many hours. I guess each year would be a way to do it, that were coincident with the political season to where the people could get
airtime.
Well, yeah, because just because somebody can make a lot of money or whatever, that doesn't indicate that they're going to be any good at a public service job, which is what all of them are, as far as, when you're a mayor or a governor or a president or a senator or a congressman, or women or, whatever, it's like how well are you going to be able to accomplish stuff for your constituents?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what counts, not
exactly.
I think we've already had a pretty good experience with just because somebody can make money doesn't mean they're helpful.
Right. Yeah. You don't get into a position of power and tell people to do things that are actually going to, if they believe you and they do them, that they're going to cost them their lives in health.
Yeah.
I mean, because not everybody's smart.
Well, I was just reading something about. I think it's St. Tammany Parish. I don't know if you read about that, but
I don't think so.
they're wanting to put in God, what is it? A food preparation. Make it to where it's okay to have a food preparation manufacturing unit or something like that. And God, what else was it? But apparently they haven't been able to manage what they already have as far as, the sewage and, clean water and all. I mean, it's just...
Well, that stuff is, very important. Like Flint. What happened with their water?
Where?
Flint, Michigan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's kind of... that's, a little bit of...
It's tragic.
Yeah, and it's still not fixed.
No. We've got another thing, too, in Jackson, Mississippi.
Oh, you're talking about with the recent thing where there's no water available.
Yeah.
I mean, the
boil. It's not safe to drink. And in some areas, the water's... The guy said that the water's got a copper color to it. I wouldn't want to drink that. And then General Honore over there, where they had... Where is it? Erath, I think. The place, something was going on with the water there, and he brought some of that water, and it looked really bad. So
yeah, I mean that's
Louisiana's not. Louisiana is not immune to having water problems. We've had places very close to Lafayette that have tested with parasites in the water.
Okay.
North of Lafayette, small towns.
Well, I'm trying to see if I can find some more about that St. Tammany stuff, but it's like, things have to be prioritized, and having good water and a good sewage system, all that stuff. I mean, that's just basic health.
Safety.
Yeah.
Shelter, food. What's the other one? There's 3 elements of, that are like critical. So the water is one of them.
Yeah.
So water, food, and shelter.
Yeah. That's kind of something everybody needs, it's kind of, I mean, if you're going to have a civilization and, or I guess any kind of a organized group of people living, sharing common stuff, there's certain things that have to be done to, make it work. And, I guess, it's a priority. I mean, it's like the Flint thing. I mean, how long ago was that? 6 or 7 years ago, something like that. And and that could have been.
I don't think it was that long. Well, it was probably that long ago it was happening, but
well, it's
ago. It was before COVID. So
I'm
in the teens.
At least 5 years ago, and let's see here. Now I'm looking finding stuff about the water system, but the maybe trying to find the thing with St. Tammany Parish, because they had a lot. We'll
have to put it on Facebook when we find it.
Well, that's where I'm looking right now, because that's where I saw it. I mean, they have let me see if they still have it. Now, this was in July. They had a boil water advisory, but that's, I don't know. Some of the people that are mayors and council people and people that are supposed to manage whatever area or district or group, whatever it is, they, either they don't want to do their job or
they're too insulated. They may be too insulated. They're just not in contact with those people who are having the hardships, and they think everything's okay, and they're not finding out for some reason. And
maybe they don't want to. Maybe they don't want to tell people, this is going to cost money. I mean, because when you look at stuff at the below, state level and below, it's not like it's the federal level where you don't have any problem with money. But at the state and lower levels, like the parish level, I mean, you do have to have an income from taxes and stuff. And maybe they don't want to tell people that, our water system is, it was completed in 1920, and we're going to have to do a major overhaul, and it's going to cost X amount of dollars to do that. Maybe they
well, it's not a real popular topic. It's not a real popular topic, and I know that there's been instances where we've had a mayor who had to address it. It was a really serious issue, and their time in office had to do with fixing the sewer system in an area. Well, he didn't get reelected. It just wasn't and that's sad, because they really did, help the community in leaps and bounds, making it a livable, dependable place to exist.
Yeah.
And sadly, they were bitter about it, and they sort of did it. They disenfranchised themselves from participating in politics for years, and then they decided that they were going to run again, and then they just all of a sudden came and showed up at everything, but they hadn't established a history, of service. It was like, they're just doing this to get in office. It didn't look good.
Well, it's going to be really interesting to find out what's going around here after this audit, even though it is going to cost people, I don't know how much, but I mean, if you figure it on a per family basis, probably a couple of bucks,
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times these, like the taxes and everything that they talk about, raising, and it's so many mills, it ends up being like $1.
Yeah.
per mill or whatever. It's not.
Yeah.
It can seem like very much. Of course, it depends on how much you got, how much you pay. And people don't like that either. Okay. I'm looking for something and I can't find it, but I will later.
Oh, really?
Yes, later.
Is it something about a topic or something else?
No, it's just a distraction. Like the warbler that's outside. We've got, apparently it was warbler season again.
Okay.
I heard a warbler. They're little tiny bird. Did you know that? They're like little tiny.
No, I've heard of the bird, but I didn't know.
They have big voices and they're little tiny, like wrens. Wrens are really loud too.
Okay, wrens seem like they're kind of small.
They're very small too.
But
back, there's a really good movie that I saw not very long ago. It's probably an old movie that Cher was actually starring as an attorney, called Suspect. And the whole thing was kind of built around corruption in politics. And that was a really good movie. And I watched it for free. So I'm not, trying to raise money for anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been watching a lot of free movies.
I don't guess I saw that, but
you should. It's a good movie. It's so good they have to put like a waiver or a what do you call it? It says that this is not based on any actual person or events, even though it might seem like it.
The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Right. No, that it's not anybody.
Yeah.
But it's a good movie. It's called Suspect, and it's starring Cher.
I don't think I'm familiar with that, but
You should watch it. I
it's
just said that. I'm repeating myself.
yeah.
And then another good movie I saw was Cinderella Man, and that is based on a true story.
I've heard of that. That seems like it's been a while since it came out, but I never did watch it.
I don't get to watch new movies.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't have TV.
Yeah.
And I end up watching them on my phone. That's kind of different. I never imagined that.
I like a big screen myself. I mean, if you can't have it in, I mean, the best is really at the movies, at the show. But if you can't have that, having a big screen TV is kind of nice.
Pajamas.
I mean, it's like, they have the old movies, the classic movies sometimes that you can go see at the theater. Well,
let me know when that happens, because I keep trying to get them to say they're going to have a black and white special movie to invite people with Alzheimer's. Which, speaking of, on the 12th of November, there's a big thing going on to march or walk for Alzheimer's at City Club. So mark that on your calendar, November 12th. And then there's other things coming up too.
Yeah. Well, I saw Casablanca at I think over there on. Yeah, well, to see it actually in the theater.
Maybe AOC has shown some movies.
Well, I'm trying to think of the name of.
Okay, that's
what
it.
They call it, but
that's it.
It's kind of neat to.
We're done.
To watch the.
It's no more movies.
Oh yeah,
no more
okay.
minutes.
I guess we should mention our Facebook page, but other than that, I guess we are done for the day.
Yeah, we're done.